All right. Okay, so this month, as I mentioned, we are going to be talking about a subject that's sort of tangent to marketing. It's going to feed into your communication and ultimately your marketing of your yoga teacher training program, but it's also going to make lots of things much more clear for you. So just like last month when we talked about marketing over a course of, I believe, 5 weeks, this month we're going to be talking about the ways in which your training is unique and really helping you get clear about how your program is unique and how you can use that then as to feed into your marketing with that clarity. So if you haven't started running your yoga teacher training yet, or if you are new to yoga teacher training, or even if you've been running your training for a while, you know that yours is not the only one in town, right? And your studio, you're not the only yoga teacher, very likely. All of these things, there's lots of other people around doing something very similar. So your training is already unique. What we're doing here is really helping you clarify what that is and then helping you be able to use that as input into your marketing and your communication messages. So yoga is very busy these days. There are studios in lots of different places, people teaching yoga in lots of different places. And so, and even training. So with those studios and additional yoga businesses are additional yoga teacher training programs. And so if you haven't started yours yet, this can be a little bit disheartening. If you're new to yoga teacher training, it's a little bit scary, but this is really a way to help build your training program long term. As I talked in the marketing messages last month, we talked about the fact that there are people out there. It may not feel like it to you because you're talking about your studio, your teacher training all the time, but there are people out there who are not aware of your studio, not aware of your training, and so you're trying to build a long-term program. Certainly for those people who are already at your studio and are aware of you and love what you're doing, but also for people who aren't as aware of what you're doing, don't know you, and that you want to be able to communicate with and let them get to know who you are. So in the long term, this is going to help you create a much more solid yoga teacher training program. As I mentioned, I talked about this last month in the marketing when we talked about advertising and content and those topics. The best way to not compete with other yoga teacher training programs around is really to be very clear about what makes your training, your teaching very unique. Now, you have every right to be biased, right? You already know or believe that your studio, your teachers, your teaching are the best around. And what you're trying to do is really create a very clear message to let other people get to know that as well. That's the best way to draw people in, let them know, and really compete, not compete, right? Because you're not competing, because no matter what the studio down the street is doing, even if they've got a yoga teacher training that looks from the outside very similar, they're actually very different. And what you're trying to do is be very clear about the ways you are different so that you attract the students that are really going to thrive in your studio, thrive in your program, and really connect with what you're doing. But you have to be very clear about what those elements are. Otherwise, people won't hear it. There's so much noise going on that they won't hear it if it's not very clear. So how do you figure out how to do that? How do you share that with people? The things that make your training unique are actually the things that your students already like about you. They're likely things that they've already told you they like, already things that they've told you drew them into your studio and have kept them around. So these aren't things that you're just going to make up, right? They're already the things, your unique perspectives and experiences. They're the things that people already give you feedback about, that they like either the teachers at your studio, the way you are, the way you present your yoga, the way you share your yoga. They're already things that you feel passionate about. So again, they're not things that you're just going to make up. They're things that are already there. You're just now going to be very clear about what those things are. These are things that your students like and appreciate about your studio. So, and about your yoga business. So over these next 4 weeks, I do have some assignments for you. So this first assignment is to take out a piece of paper, and you're going to keep this handy. What I want you to do is to brainstorm. Brainstorm about all the things that you already know make your studio unique. If you're already running a yoga teacher training program, include the things that make your yoga teacher training program unique. And just sort of stream of consciousness, right? So just start writing down all of the things that you feel make your program unique. You're going to sit with this piece of paper over the course of the next week. You're going to write a whole bunch of things down, top of mind, and then you're going to let it sit. You're going to come back to it. Maybe you're going to ask your students this week, ask people at your studio for some input. What drew them in? What keeps them coming back? You're going to write all of those things down. And then before next Tuesday, or before our next video, you are going to take a look at that, and you're going to start to notice things that are sort of themes, right? That keep showing up in the list. And those are the things that are going to start bubbling to the top. You're going to keep hold of that list. And we're going to use this over the course of the next few weeks with these videos, just to start getting clear about your uniqueness in your yoga teacher training. So get out that blank piece of paper, start brainstorming, and then we will continue with this over the next few weeks. All right. I am Julie Chavana. This is Yoga Trainers Tribe. If you are watching this from Yoga Tree Consulting page, go ahead, scroll to the very top of the group, and you can get into the page, and you can get into Yoga Trainers Tribe, where you can post questions about this content, and I'll be answering those questions over there. So go ahead and join the group. Join the conversation about yoga teacher training, whether you've not yet started your program, just new to it, or if you're well into it and looking to get very clear and to continue growing a long-term program for yourself. All right, I'm Julie Chavana, and thanks for tuning in this week, Yoga Trainers Tribe, and I will see you next week. Get your brainstorming hat on, and we'll continue then. All right, thanks for tuning in.